Today on the podcast, we are featuring the Toronto-based band Fake Magic. Learn more about them and listen to their track, Begging to Be Lonely. Welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Breathe Music podcast. I'm your host, Jeanette Kimsel, blogger and music enthusiast. Let's get started with today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Breathe Music podcast. I'm your host, Jeanette Kimsel. For those of you just joining us, this is a podcast where I talk about different musicians and how their music affects me, and then I play a track of theirs for you to listen to. So you can check it out, form your own opinion as well. And if you're so interested in sharing your thoughts on the track and artist, I'll have details at the end of the show where you can leave your comments. So I hope everyone's having a good new year. I can't believe that it's already the end of January. I feel like this year is just going to fly by so fast. And I know I normally don't chat a lot in the beginning of the podcast. Normally I just kind of jump right into, the topic at hand. But I thought maybe today I'd do a little something different. Don't know if you guys appreciate that or if you just wanted me to jump right into talking about the band and everything. But I don't know. I think I'm in a kind of a funk lately. Like, I don't know if it's just because it's January and it's December. It's not December. What am I saying? It's January and, it's been very gray. I'm glad that it's not snowing yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully it will not snow, but I don't know. It's just been feeling very meh. And again, it's nice to have music to listen to feel better about things that are going on or the lack of the sun. And I think I might be in need of some vitamin D as well. So I try to get out even walking because for me, endorphins help make me feel a lot better. But I don't know. I don't know. It's been kind of not depressing, but it's just been I don't know, maybe it's just a January slump or something. I don't know. I'm not a fan of winter. I've never really been so depressed about winter, but I think it's just the last couple days have been so gray. There's been spots of sun, but again, I'm also thankful that it's not really actually snowing or the weather could be a lot worse, but again, maybe it's just that seasonal allergy depression or something. But again, I do want to be thankful for music because listening to this particular artist actually was kind of uplifting, even though the song itself is kind of a depressing song. Looking at the concept of the song, I still feel like it's kind of got an upbeat vibe to it, which is kind of nice. So it kind of occupies my mind and makes me think of something else. And I think that's the thing too, is when you listen to music, you can kind of just escape and you can listen to something and you can really kind of take you to where the artist is gone, or, even you're interpreting it in your own words as well. So I don't know. I've just been thinking about that recently. And I think I haven't been listening to a lot of music, even though I've been doing these podcasts. I think I don't listen to enough music during the day. And that's probably my downfall, because if I listen to more music, I probably would be in a better mood. I think I need to start listening to more music. And I don't know what it is. I tend to listen to podcasts all the time. I'm just I have 6-7 different podcasts that I listen to, and I've just get so obsessed with feeling like I have to be on track and listening to them. I can't miss an episode, but I can, because it's literally you can listen whenever you want. It's the beauty of podcasting and listening to podcasts. So I don't know. I think I need to focus more on music, and I think I need to focus more on listening to things that are uplifting, listening to things that are kind of giving me a good mood, because I don't know what it is. The last couple days, I've just been kind of really meh, and just kind of not in the greatest of spirits. I don't know why. And I think it's just the weather. I think it's January and it's cold and it's gray, and at least I have the music to kind of keep me going and make me feel positive, and it's upbeat and happy. So it's nice to have an outlet like that. But enough of my digression. Now I'll dive into talking about the Toronto-based group Fake Magic. So today I'm talking about the Toronto-based group Fake Magic. And the band is made up of members Greg Markham, Bryan Paccagnella, and I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, please forgive me, and Cory Williams. Greg plays guitar, bass, and keys. Bryan is on lead vocals as well as occasional guitar, keys, electronic kazoo, and then the two of them create keyboard and drum loops using Logic, and then Cory plays lead guitar. The original concept of the band was founded by Greg and Bryan. They met in grade 2, and I love how in Canada they say grade 2 and not second grade. It reminds me of Degrassi and how they always say, grade 2, grade 9, just little tidbit. I don't know, that always makes me laugh. Anyway, so they met in grade 2 in the suburbs of Richmond Hill, Canada. They bonded early over a shared obsession with Weird Al's album Bad Hair Day and the music videos from the album. They went on to go to the same high school and both attended Humber College in 2005. Greg went for the jazz program and Bryan went for comedy writing and performance. And the two of them growing up, they played a lot of garage and basement rock. Influences kind of ran the gamut. But they really had a knack for creating tunes. I guess after college, it doesn't specifically say what year, but I guess Bryan had spent years as a writer, comedian. He performed sketch comedy around places like Rivoli and Comedy Bar, gaining some viral fame and a Canadian Comedy Award nomination for a Toronto-centric parody of the Pet Shop Boys' West End Girls with his troupe Plum Thunder. And then Greg played in bands. He was in Who's Army, also the Moors, which is now Jackie, and Keegan Powell. And that's where he had met Cory in the Who's Army, who's the third member of the group. They played together in the band Who's Army, as I said before, and they had won the CBC's Cover Me Canada contest. Then it seemed that Greg and Bryan lost touch while pursuing their careers, but they reconnected in 2018 and started Fake Magic. In late 2019, they dropped their first EP entitled Hi-Fi. Then they put out the full-length NA in 2020. The track I'll be playing later today is off their second album, Sad Dad, which is out now. With this last album, Sad Dad, they added former Who's Army bandmate Cory, rounding out the band to be a trio. So all of their earlier releases were just of Greg and Bryan as a duo. Though their music has been described within the section of alternative and rock genres, the band does not really like to label what they're doing, Whatever an interest comes to mind is where they will put their sound. They're pretty funny about it. They kind of refer to themselves as dork rock, indie rock, alt rock, call it Steven, call it a cab, take it down to Weird Street, it's a good time. So you're getting something silly and fun with this band because they have a good sense of humor, and you can expect something that's going to be fun. It's also interesting to note that there is also like a sincereness and somewhat dark vibe, to their music. And in this track in particular, it really does kind of talk about how you may feel stuck. The song Begging to Be Lonely is basically about how slow time moves when you feel stuck. It comes from Bryan and Greg's experience growing up in the suburbs of Richmond Hill in the 90s and 2000s. They were always dreaming of a life downtown in the big city. This endless wait can lead to, depression, excuses, and self-sabotage, hence the title Begging to Be Lonely. It's the age-old thing where you feel like everyone's having more fun than you. You're just kind of stuck in this place. And the thing I like about this song is that it has this, like, duality to it. There's, like, a juxtaposition, at least in my opinion. You can have, like, these... the song it's a little silly when it starts, it almost sounds like there's like a burp or something, which is kind of weird, but also like, I don't know if that's what it is, but it sounds like a burp to me. And I thought it was interesting because it kind of, it makes me think about Weird Al for some reason. I don't know if it's just because of like, they were talking about that in their bio, but then I thought, I thought it was an interesting concept because it's kind of like the music itself has these like very, kind of like not super high energy, like happy-go-lucky, like alt rock sounds, but there is like a, kind of like a steady beat where it's like, it gets you moving and grooving, but then you listen to the lyrics and it's kind of not depressing, but it's also like, it is kind of like that dark and sincere, kind of feeling. So there is that like the polarity between the music and the lyrics, which I like because, depending on what you're into, you can take it all together as like a very meaningful track where it's like, you have the dynamic of the music and the guitars, and there's also these like, I can hear some of the electronic pieces in it, and I think like, I like how it starts out with kind of like the chorus part of the song, and then it kind of, you get really into the music right away, which is fun because there's not like a lot of build up in the beginning. You kind of are automatically like feeling and getting what the song is giving to you. And it's just this like, this like knee slapping, kind of like head bobbing, like, garage indie rock fun time. I also like how there's like a continuous steady beat from the drums. The drums are kind of hitting you in the beginning and they're like dun 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 dun, and then it kind of comes in with the the guitars that are like dun, 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 and it just kind of meshes like very well together. And I like that the drum beats really kind of get to me like throughout the song, and I like how they're like just continuous, and it's very enticing, and it's very like not hypnotic, but almost like it's just a nice amalgamation and combination of all these different sounds. And then you have the vocals come in, and the vocals are different and distinct. They're interesting sounding to me. They're not so much as whiny, but they seem to be a mix of distorted, somewhat high pitched, and it kind of just makes your ears perk up and think like, oh, what is this? This is interesting. This is something to take note of. And as I said before, this song is off their latest album, Sad Dad, and this is a concept album with an established character. The narrative expands with each song, unraveling the life of a sad dad. Each of the 13 chapters expounds upon a different surface level and metaphorical theme, according to the band. And, I think the nice thing about this is that, on the surface, it can be really fun music. And then also, if you want to dig deeper, you can kind of really look at all of the emotional pieces of this music. So it offers something for everyone. I would say if you're interested in listening to the rest of the album, you can find that on streaming, and I'll leave a link to that in the show notes. If you're someone into music videos, you'll enjoy the video that accompanies this track. It features the band jamming in the garage while life seems to fly by at a high speed. And it's pretty neat to capture this effects. The video was shot 10 times slower than it plays in the video. So the band actually had to learn the song at that speed in order to capture the video. And they said that each take was roughly about a half an hour. So there was a lot of dedication that went into the making of that video. The video was directed by Kyle McDonnell with cinematography by Stephen McDonnell, and it features cameos by director Kyle McDonnell, Bryan's wife Amy, photographer Jack Louvran, and Bryan's aunt and uncle's family dog Oakley. And I can leave link to that YouTube video in the show notes if you want to check it out. I also just want to note their enjoyable sound has also been noted with love from the blogosphere, where the band has had write-ups and interviews in YMX, Great Dark Wonder, Canadian Beats, V13, Cashbox, Tinnitus, Phaeton Music, BK on the Scene, and Throw Dice and Play Nice. And I can leave links to those in the show notes if you are interested in reading any of the other features on the band. And with that being said, I think I've been chatting for quite a bit, so I won't take up any more of your time. And without further ado, here is Begging to Be Lonely by Fake Magic.
You're begging to be lonely.
would love to know what you think about Fake Magic and their track Begging to Be Lonely. You can tell us in a comment on the podcast webpage. You can also leave an audio comment at the link in the episode summary. For more information on Fake Magic, you can check out their official website, www.fakemagic.ucraft.site. That is fakemagic.ucraft.site. You can also like and follow them on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, they are at the handle fake.magic.band. That is fake.magic.band. On Twitter, they are at the handle fake_magic. That is fake_magic. If you're looking for more new music, be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you get the latest updates on our artist features. You can also find more music features on our website at www.eatsleepbreathemusic.com. That is EATSLEEPBREATHEMUSIC.com. Thanks for listening and see you in the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to the Eat, Sleep, Breathe Music podcast. To find new music and learn more about what we do, you can check out our website at www.eatsleepbreathemusic.com.